Hi, we're in Singapore.
They say that I'm such a weirdo. Tattoos from my toes to my earlobe. Was a role model, I never had a hero. I learned how to live through the stereo. Coming from where I come from, letting the feel, yo. Everything you see ain't what it appears, though. Everything that I built, made that from zero, then added a zero. I am my hero. You couldn't imagine what it's like in my mind. It's beauty and catastrophe at the same time. Remember they laughed at me when it was...
Singapore is one of the largest cities in Asia and the second biggest port in the world. It is famous for its architecture, magnificent gardens, and absurd fines for spitting and chewing gum. But for those who don't know, Singapore is a small island near Malay Peninsula with an area of only 720 square kilometers, which makes it one of the smallest nations in the world. But despite its small size, Singapore is a giant. With only one city, Singapore has the 30th largest economy in the world, outranking its neighbor Malaysia and ranking second in the world by GDP per capita. But we are not here today to talk about Singapore and economic wonder. No, today I'm to show you Singapore from the perspective of an ordinary person, and try to answer the question, what makes Singapore so great? And is it really as good as they tell you? Let's start from the beginning. In August of this year, I left Estonia and went to study in Singapore at one of the most prestigious universities in the world, National University of Singapore. To get here, I had to take 3 flights connected at Helsinki and Doha, and after 20 hours and a nearly missed flight, I finally made it to Singapore. And let me tell you, Singapore airport is truly a thing of beauty. Having spent a good 4 hours wandering around the airport and enjoying the view, I finally decided to order a cab and head to my university. There I was supposed to get a room, which would become my home for the next 5 months. A taxi from airport to the university turned out to be $50, a hefty price which reminded me that Singapore is a very, very expensive city. And by the way, those are Singaporean dollars, which is approximately this amount of United States dollars, and from now on I will simply call Singaporean dollars as dollars, because otherwise it's just too many syllables. Anyway, having reached the university, I finally settled in. By the way, at NUS there is nobody to meet you. No receptionist, no staff, no one. Just download an app and use it to open every door. The room was decent, clean and spacious, but there was just one slight problem. No air conditioner. Now, I don't mean to sound like a crybaby, but Singapore is hot. Like, plus 35 degrees hot. And the fact of not having an AC can be a pretty big deal here. Actually, air conditioning is a big problem for the whole Singapore. Many shopping malls and public spaces have no outside walls and therefore no temperature regulation. And places with air conditioners usually turn them all the way, so it's quite chilling inside. And because of this sudden temperature difference, you can catch a cold in a matter of seconds. Something that actually happened to me in the very first week. Luckily, I was fast to recover, and before the beginning of my semester, I decided to see as much Singapore as possible. And oh boy, did I. Gardens by the Bay, Marina Bay Sands, Harbourfront, Chinatown, Sentosa Beach, all these places are definitely a must to see. But if you don't want to just look from the outside and want to actually get inside those places, you'll have to spend some money. And that is another problem, because Singapore is quite expensive. For example, a cup of coffee here will cost you $10, a pint of beer $20, and a night in a good hotel will set you back around $400. There is, however, a reason for such ridiculous prices. See, Singaporeans have very high salaries, one of the highest in the world. The average salary here is around $6,000, so locals don't really complain about the prices. Oh, maybe except for the cars. Because if you want to own a car here, you have to be a millionaire, literally. Please meet Toyota Prius, a car that will cost you around $30,000 in most of the countries, but in Singapore, you would have to pay a whopping $225,000 for the same car. And then you have to pay almost the same amount to register this car. So I guess this is why many people prefer to use public transport in Singapore instead of owning a car. Luckily, Singapore public transport is fast, cheap, and easy to use. For any means of transportation, you can pay with just your credit card, and usually a ride on the bus or metro will cost you no more than $2. The subway can take you almost everywhere, whether it be a financial district, a downtown, or one of the many food hawker centers, which is something very unique to Asia, and especially to Singapore. The name hawker comes from the word hawk, a bird that Singaporean food peddlers resembled in the old days. Today, Hawker Center is a collection of many food joints under the same roof, with affordable prices and a decent food quality. So if you're traveling to Singapore, Hawker Center is definitely a must to visit. The variety of flavors and the quality of food here is something that can be hardly described with words. And besides, many of these joints have Michelin stars, the highest award in the restaurant industry. And all in all, Singapore is an amazing city, with its own unique character. And while it can be strange and confusing for the newcomers, it definitely should be on everyone's bucket list.